Yes, people. Welcome back to Bluesfantv. Welcome back to the channel. I hope you guys, are keeping well. Big shout out to you know everyone that has been part of this family. Everyone that has subscribed to the channel. If you have not yet subscribed, please hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel. Let's keep growing as a family. I mean, honestly, like I used to say, you guys are the pillar of this channel. I just want to say, I can't thank you enough. To be honest, I can't thank you enough. Your likes, your engagement on all socials lately has been incredible. Has been incredible. Like I said, I can't thank you enough. Please, let's keep growing as a family. Please subscribe to the channel. If you want to be part of this family, you know there's a link in the description whereby you can definitely join. And if you want to say your opinion, you want to be part of the family, you want to be part of our stream and whatever, you just reach out to me, and of course I'll just add you to wherever we send information to. So yes, I'm back here, guys, to sort of like go through some few things that has been happening. So sorry I wasn't able to come live yesterday, but of course, like I said, I will always try to make sure that I'm here as much as possible, as much as I could, to be honest, because you know that's the only way we can connect. That's the only way we can sort of like continue to grow this channel. Just to keep us updated, guys. So honestly, like I said, I'll always be here every night, 11 p.m., to join you guys, to talk to you guys. If you don't see me in 11 p.m., maybe half 11 max, it means I'm not going to be coming live that night. Obviously, we've all got one or two things doing. Everywhere is busy. You have to go to work, you need to look after family, look after yourself as well. So there's a lot going on around the world. But at the end of the day, we are Chelsea. We still have to talk about things that we feel, share opinions, and just go through one or few things. So in a couple of days, it's been international break, and honestly, in my own opinion, I find it so boring. There's nothing that I find so boring than international break, because at the end of the day, there's nothing going on. Everywhere is just being quiet. Yeah, it's just what it is. But sometimes when you look at it, it's just another opportunity to get some rest and prepare for April, what's gonna come. I think we've got about 3-4 games in April, if I'm not wrong. So I think in terms of international aspect, I feel like honestly we really need it. We really need the international break, especially that form that we have at the moment, bro. I think we definitely need that international break. At least let some fresh air come into the football club. Let everybody go away, hook up with their family, friends, play different sort of football, international and stuff like that. And maybe when we come back, there'll be a lot of positive things to start from, and that's what I'm hoping for, to be honest. That's exactly what I'm really hoping for, that this international break should be a kind of a recovery mode for the players. If there's anyone having sort of malice with each other, should be another source of trying to get away from whatever is going on. And let's come back, let's refresh. This 7 game is very much important, and the FA Cup as well. Like we've always said, we can still, sorry guys, we can still definitely win it. I'm seeing us right at the top, still winning that FA Cup. If we take it serious, if these guys are ready to give, everything, I believe we can still definitely get into that final. To be honest, and then So I'm gonna start with some few things that have been coming up since yesterday. I think this one is saying Malo Gusto delivered a dominance defensive and playmaking system to shut down Vinicius Junior and help France to win 2-1. I think, it's not one of the game that I really sat down and really, really watched, but I did watch the highlight. I did saw some of, brilliant sort of performance from Malo Gusto. And honestly, I think he really did well in that game. And the main thing is he's playing against Vinicius Junior. You can't take that away. You can't take that away. And for him to perform in that sort of level with that sort of concentration and all these things, honestly, I think Malo Gusto is one of those. You see, one thing that I really, really know about Malo Gusto is I know he's a top player. He's an elite. I believe with time, the only problem we've got. Oh, so sorry, guys. The only problem I think we have is Malo Gusto is these players they need consistency. They need to be under that manager that really understand how he works for them. That really, really understand how he works for them. And the second thing is we need to know how to keep these players fit. That's another main thing. I think Malo Gusto is a top player. It might not be that sort of 100% in terms of defensive wise, but attacking wise and the ability to kind of bring some fresh things into the game. I think Malo is top. Malo is top. And I'm not so surprised to see that he pulled out that sort of performance against Vinicius Junior. We know Malo. Malo is a high talented defender. It's just take a time for him to be, to be up there. And of course, another big reason is because he's competing with the likes of James in Chelsea, so it's somehow difficult. I see him starting back to back in one of the biggest club in the world. Yeah, I see Malo starting in most of the biggest club in the world, to be honest with you, because when you look at the way he plays, he's just a top player, to be honest. So I'm not surprised to see that sort of performance from him against Vinicius Junior. And this is what I'm saying, that when these guys go on an international play, they play a different game. Let's see if they come back with fresh air, fresh just fresh into games, and let's start winning again. So I think this is one of those things that we need to be proud of. Malo Gusto delivered an absolutely brilliant performance against Vinicius Junior. We can't look away from that. So, and going on to the next one, I think Enzo Fernandez. I'm going to talk about Cole Palmer now. So Palmer was back into Palmer was back into the England, squad. Well, to be honest, I would say I'm really, really happy to see him coming back into that squad. I've always said this on this channel that one of the things that I'm really, really skeptical about is Palmer going to the World Cup. I'm really, really hoping that he gets fit and ready to go to that World Cup, because I know his ability. And of course, he made his appearance, against Uruguay. And to be honest with you, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. He came in at maybe 70 minutes for Foden, and honestly, it's just unbelievable. He came in, everything changes. He started, doing his things and, all sort of things. I think he had an assist for Ben White as well. Look at that performance. So that's why I said, let's give Palmer some time. Palmer is that player that we know 100% has got this quality. Not just quality, extra quality. But, struggling with injury, came back from injury. Of course, like I said, I still don't believe that we're doing the right thing about around Cole Palmer, swapping players each now and then, swapping him from different position. This season, he has not even enjoying playing as a number 10. Sometimes he's playing as a winger, sometimes he's playing as a double 10, and all those stuff with Enzo Fernandez. So happy with his performance, against Uruguay. And I hope this boosts his morale as well, coming back into the game next week against Port Vale. I'm not really expecting him to play that game. Hopefully, we get a good result, but we've got to wait and see. So Palmer made his first appearance since July 2024. As we all know, the last time he played was in the Euro. He was, struggling with injuries and stuff like that. But like I said, I'm hoping that this performance yesterday will definitely help him come back into Chelsea. So, when we come back, I hope he gets his form back, you know, playing at the top level again. This 7 game can still go a long way. I see Palmer having 4 or 5 goals before the end of the season, to be honest. So, on the next one, I'm going to move to Enzo Fernandez. There's a lot of noise around Enzo Fernandez, to be honest, you know. But let's start from his performance from, Argentina against Mauritania. So, Enzo Fernandez was on the score sheet against Mauritania as Argentina beat Mauritania. Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, I think this is one of the reasons why I personally feel like Enzo Fernandez was fuming. He was really fuming about sacking Maresca, because I think Maresca was able to bring something special out of Enzo Fernandez. I mean, it looks like they have sort of special connection in between themselves, because we saw what Enzo Maresca was able to bring out of Enzo Fernandez. He played him as a false number 10. He forced him to go into the box, to start getting goals, and to start believing in himself, you know. But I'm so sorry. I think Enzo Fernandez is losing it right now. He was feeling it right now that, come on, I'm not a fan of this new guy. I'm not a fan of this new coach. He's not, he's not just Maresca. So I really understand him, to be honest. I just feel like, you know, in my own honest opinion, should have wait for one more season and see maybe something can change. No one can assure that Liam Rossini is going to be there for next season. So I feel like Enzo Fernandez should have been patient enough to see what happened at the end of the season. At least have one more year with Chelsea and let's see where we are. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, it was on the score sheet against Argentina. I'm not really surprised. One thing that I know about Argentina players is they are always 100% when they go back home to play for their country. They are always, really, really dedicated to the country. So I'm not surprised that he get a goal. He's always playing like, box to box, lately. And that's why you see his GA is really, really rising compared to what he has been doing in the upper season. And another one coming from, Enzo Fernandez news was, you know, I don't know. Like I said, I'm really really tired of these journalists. To be honest, they like to pull trouble out there for people. I mean, they went on to interview his wife to ask about Enzo Fernandez's future and whatever. I don't know. She's just a wife. She's just a girlfriend or partner. Why do you have to keep asking him about the future of? It's crazy. People are just trying to, I don't know. Because Chelsea doesn't deserve, at this moment, I feel like Chelsea doesn't deserve all this noise around us. What we need now is how to concentrate and try to qualify for Champions League. That's it. Whatever is going on, these journalists are the one bringing it out. And that's the biggest problem we've got this season. They're trying as much as possible to push these players to the end, to let them say what they don't want to say. So, and the partner reply, I don't know, hopefully not. I love it here at Chelsea. So a lot of people has interpreted this, but I personally feel like, you know, I personally feel like they spend a lot of time in London. The family is settled and all these things. Realistically, I'm not seeing Enzo Fernandez leaving Chelsea because I don't know. I don't see any club bringing in that sort of ridiculous amount that the Blue Co will be asking for Enzo Fernandez. I don't see them selling him for cheap. I don't see it. I don't see it, and what I'm saying, if they come tomorrow and said, "Oh, we're selling Enzo Fernandez for 120 million, 110 million," I don't see any football club that will be ready to pay that ridiculous amount of money. So that's where the problem is right now. The only way Enzo Fernandez is leaving Chelsea is If the ownership are ready to lose, they're ready to lose money. I think it's gonna happen. But if not, I don't see that happening next season. So that's all I've got for Enzo Fernandez. And on to the next one. I think this one is a little bit, engaging, and you start thinking that, you know, to be honest with you, I feel like Esteva is just a joy to watch. I think right now, whatsoever anybody said about him, he deserve it. He deserve it because still young, but the way he does his things is just special. It's special. And I think he's really, really gained people's mind. People love him. They believe in his project. They believe in everything that he's doing. He's always coming and making the changes. So, and this one is coming from, Tim Vekri. I don't really know this guy too much. I don't know. Maybe he's a journalist or he's an ex Chelsea player or whatever. But what he said is, he said Estival is the most talented player to have played for Brazil since Neymar. Bro, when I read this, I was like, wow, wow. I think this is a big call for Estival, honestly. In my own opinion, I think he is a well deserved. The one thing that I really really know is that when when you have Estival on the pitch, your mind is always at rest. You feel so special. You have something special on the pitch that can always provide something. That's it. That's just the attachment for Estival. People love him. They believe so much in him. And whenever he comes in, he always gives hope to the fans. Even when things are dying, when things are killing, he's always trying to make the fans happy, entertain the fans. Against Everton, it was the only positive thing that we could bring out of that game. Because when he came in, the atmosphere changed. The fans were really into it. He was frustrating Aston Villa, did some quite a few good crosses. And yes, that's it. That's what a player is. You know what I mean? And now Tim Vicky has said these words. He said he's the most talented player to have played for Brazil since Neymar. Honestly, I think as a Chelsea fan, really want to accept that. I feel like Esteval is a top player, top talent. But at the same time, we've got to think about, is this not something too much for Esteval at this time? Because he definitely needs to concentrate on his future. I don't think it's the right time to start, giving him all this accolade, because we've got the like of Vinicius Junior, we've got the like of Rodrigo, some other, quite good players as well, attacking player for Brazil as well. But after saying this, I think, in my own opinion, I'm so comfortable with what Tim Vekni said. To be honest, because when you look at Estival, like I said earlier, it's just a joy to watch. It's a joy to watch. Yeah, and there's a few comments on this which I would just like to share. So someone is saying that at this level, so someone is saying at Chelsea he won't develop with Chelsea constantly changing managers and buying average player. He needs stability like Manchester City. He needs stability like Manchester City, Arsenal have done. Well, this is strange to me. I don't really think, this is a good point. This is a good comment, but at the same time, I feel like, this is Chelsea. I think they presented the project to him before he signed the contract, and I feel like he's just too young. Even if he's in City or wherever, I don't think he's gonna be having that full time play. Because when you look at his age and what the intensity of Premier League is, I don't think you are able to gamble to keep starting him each game if not necessary. But like this commenter said, I think is something really positive that we can bring out of them. Obviously these sort of players need stability. They need people to play in week out for years, to be able to create something, to be able to make something happen. Because at the end of the day, when you keep rotating and changing players around them, they might not be able to live to their expectation, to be honest. And that's what's happening to Palmer right now. I used to say it every now and then that I felt so much for Palmer, because last season Jackson, Madueke are one of those guys that have that have more GA with Palmer. He really understand this guy at a level. He really, really understand him. And now you just took those two guys off, and you expect Palmer to just come in again and start linking up with your new signings. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. So Esteval, good gesture from Team Vickery. We're not, called up for the international break. We know this injury must have been the reason, because obviously you need some rest. You're just coming back from injury. There's no point of rushing you into the international break. But big shout out from, Team Vickery. I think that accolade was a big one. I think Esteval has a lot to do for Brazil, to be honest, because a lot of Brazilians are hoping on him. They believe is that guy that can bring changes into that team. And the next one, I'm gonna wrap it up with it, Mamadou Sarr. So Mohamed Sarr, talk about his return to Chelsea. He said, "I have no regret. I have to earn my place here in Chelsea." Honestly, I think calling back young players that are on loan, trying to grow, trying to make a stability in the middle of the season. To me, I don't like it. I don't buy the ideas. I don't buy the ideas of bringing in players, in the middle of the table. I mean, the middle of the season. But like I said, Sad is part of us right now. They've brought him back. They've given him some opportunities. And the most craziest thing that I feel like has happened with Momodo Sarr was he was just unlucky. The way the manager is using him is ridiculous. It's unbelievable. This guy has started 2 games this season, and the 2 games were against PSG and against Arsenal, if I could remember vividly. So this is a wake up. This is a big challenge for a player that is just coming up, that is just trying to build his career. I think, in my own opinion, it's just too harsh. It's too harsh. I think Rosinio should have kept him for the small games and try to integrate him inside that way, but choking him up to give him a start, in this sort of big games, I think it's just unbelievable. It's unbelievable. So he said he didn't regret coming to Chelsea, that he has to fight to earn his place. The question is he going to leave to fight for his place? I hope they don't get him sold out. I hope they don't get him loaned out. I hope they don't keep, put him on the bench, because this ownership, all they care about is a young player like Sar to have some minutes in Premier League, and then at the end of the season, if is a football club were interested and bringing the big money, they're gonna sell him off. So that's the plan. That's the plan. So, but at the end of the day, he said he's happy to come to Chelsea. He wants to earn his spot. Will he be able to earn his spot? We have to wait and see. But for now, I think he's a brilliant player. He's one of those players you can really really rely on in terms of defensive. So I feel like you know, and obviously now I think he's gonna have more game time. Chaluba is out. Fofana, you can't trust him. James is out. So obviously these guys are still the guy that we need to turn back to. So that's all I've got for you guys tonight. If you are very much around from the start of this live stream until now, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. If you come across this video, please like, share, and of course let's keep growing as a family. Up the Chels.